Welcome back to Vex Comics, y'all. Last time I left you, I was telling you about Barbatos's plans and him gathering up his lieutenants. And today we're going to figure out who each of these lieutenants is. To make it simple, each of their deals goes like this. An unstable Earth is sent into the dark multiverse and is assigned a negative Earth number. Like we have an Earth 1 and an Earth -1. And Earth -1 has some core features of Earth 1, but it isn't necessarily the same. Like maybe in Earth 12, Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman are together, which is uncommon. And on Earth -12, they're also together. But something else happens that sends each of those Earths down a different path. And so I'm going to let you know where they're from, how they got there, how they got the way they are, and all that good stuff. But there's like 7 of them. So, we got some time constraints. So let's just jump right into it. First on our list, we travel down to Earth -1. And on this Earth, we have a Superman that has had his mind broken by some unknown force. And it caused Superman to see humanity as a flaw on the planet as opposed to like a species to protect. Almost like Poison Ivy's whole deal. So Superman became like a ruthless dictator and used his insane power to basically destroy the world and everyone in it. And as well as we all know, the only thing strong enough to beat Superman for real is a Batman. So our last line of defense stepped up to fight the one thing he has always prepared for and has been ostracized for doing, and burning bridges of trust within the Justice League, all of that. Because one day, just in case, if he had to fight a rogue Superman, he could. So Batman is like, well, look who was right all along. But in most cases, Batman prepares a way to subdue Superman or weaken him enough to imprison him, not kill him. However, this fight to subdue, during the fight, Superman easily overpowered Batman and left him beaten and broken and with no other options. And believing he was the only one who could stop Superman, Bruce injected himself with a secret serum he had created from the Doomsday virus, which is the virus that was famously known on Prime Earth for killing Superman. And it was kind of an all or nothing gamble because the serum could just kill Batman. But it didn't. It turned him into a doomsday-like monster, like a hulking gray beast with the raw power of doomsday. But his unbreakable will and tactical mind remained, which isn't usually the case for the doomsday serum thing. Because he's pretty much just a mindless, all-powerful monster, generally. So in this new monstrous form, Batman turned into what they called the Devastator and was able to kill Superman, kind of ending the reign of terror. But the thing with the Doomsday virus is it's a virus. So it started to spread, infecting the rest of the entire world, turning everyone into monstrous, mindless creatures. So he did save the world from a monster, but only to turn it into a world full of them, with him kind of in charge. But despite this, the Devastator still believed he did the right thing. I mean, because because of him, technically everyone is still alive when they could be dead. It's just like a monkey paw wish rules. But like if like everyone is a doomsday monster, then that is the new normal, kind of like. This is like the Rick and Morty episode with the love potion and everyone gets Cronenberg. Like if everyone is a Cronenberg, then it's kind of like fine. Like it's just different. I know this isn't how it's like pictured, but I kind of like to picture it like now it's just like everyone's a doomsday monster, which kind of looks like a gray Hulk with like bony spikes sticking out of like his back and elbows. But it's just like a staff full of them at like a Trader Joe's, where the customers are like also doomsdays, or just like being in traffic in like a super stretched out suit over like the giant Hulk body. And it's just like, oh, like rush hour traffic. I mean, it's probably more like world destroyed by monsters, but who's to say? But anyway, his like warped sense of reality and his like crazy amount of power made him a prime candidate for the Barbatos Dark Army. He believed he was doing the right thing, just something that was right, and that the ends kind of justified the means, even if it means destroying the world in a different way to prevent it from being destroyed. So he was on board. Next, we head over to Earth -11, which is actually a gender-swapped reality, which happens from time to time with some stable results sometimes. This time, however, was not one of those times. And so we have Batwoman, Bryce Wayne, daughter of Martin Wayne. And if you're not following the swap, it's normally Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne's mom is Martha Wayne. And much like how we like lately see Bruce Wayne falling in love with Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman, Bryce Wayne falls in love with a Sylvester Kyle. And I can only assume is Catman. But the world was populated with like very powerful metahumans. Just like something about the gender swap made it so chaotic. Like something about Lex Luthor and Superman, both as girls fighting each other, made them go like too far. Or Wonder Man not being Wonder Woman made him too aggressive, or whatever it might have been. Just like an island full of not woman Amazons. It's just like do war instead. But at some point, these catastrophic metahuman events ended up killing Sylvester, which made Bryce very hateful, specifically towards metahumans. And she was convinced that metahumans were an existential threat that had to be eliminated. Like, not even as heroes and villains anymore, but like subhuman diseases on the world that would inevitably destroy humanity. So, driven by the rage of a woman scorned, she dedicated her life to fighting metahumans. She created a humans-only version of the Bat family and trained them to fight and kill all metahumans across the world, which also included the metahumans in this universe's Atlantis, led by Aquawoman. And Aquawoman was like, uh-oh, they're going to war with us. And the Atlanteans were much better equipped than, they're way too powerful. And they had the upper hand in the water on top of that. And the Batwoman Bat family meta-killers weren't strong enough. So in a desperate final attempt to win, Batwoman knew that this was kind of the point of no return. If she was really about killing metahumans or not. And so she kills Aquawoman, took her trident, and decided to basically claim Atlantis, because that's what you do when you got the trident. And because that army was kind of the only army that was stronger than her own. and believed that a world under the water would be like a world safe from metahuman threats, because then she would have the Atlantean army and all the metahumans would have to fight in the water, where she's good at. But you can't just like live under the water. You gotta also kind of be an Atlantean, which that woman wasn't. So she decided to perform a little surgery and splice her own DNA with the now dead Aqua Woman's DNA to become the Drowned, which I did an episode on already, just alone. But the Drowned is a terrible zombie-like Atlantean human hybrid with the ability to control like hordes of zombie-like creatures from the water called the Dead Water. Just like the grossest version of Aquaman's powers. And this ultimately drove her to drowning the whole world, submerging it all underwater and killing everything, and became queen of her own drowned world. And with her situation getting kind of so out of control, it drew the eyes of Barbatos, who sent someone to go convince the Drowned to join up with his army, promising her a new world where she could finally get rid of all the metahumans once and for all on like a cosmic scale to fulfill her life's purpose. So of course she was on board. So we got 2. Next, we have Earth -12. Just one more over. An Earth with a much more prominent Amazonian presence. War between humanity and the gods of Olympus had broken out. And in this war, Batman and Wonder Woman fought like side by side, eventually evolving like into like a relationship and becoming the key to humanity's survival. However, much like every time Wonder Woman has a massive scale war, the one to blame is always, of course, the god of war, Ares, who is now equipped with his new power helmet that multiplied his power by about 100 times what it normally is. So, of course, he was way too powerful to handle like this time specifically, and he's able to kill Wonder Woman, the love of Batman's life. And in his last moments with her, she warned Bruce not to ever wear the helmet. Just like, that's the only message that she had to get across, was like, no matter what, just don't put on the helmet, because it'd be too powerful and turn him into a monster. And not to foreshadow too hard, but you might have already guessed what's coming, because of course he was consumed by grief, and of course he tricked Ares into getting his helmet because he's Batman, and of course he put it on to kill Ares. So he puts it on and it turns him into this like being of pure power, where his grief and rage had transformed into an all-consuming desire for war and conquest, like Ares's power. And so he killed Ares easy. He's 100 times stronger. At the same time, Ares is now 100 times weaker. Like, just easy clap, done. And now his bloodlust of killing gods kind of kicks in, and he turns on the rest of the Olympian gods and killed all of them, and officially becoming the tyrannical leader known as the Merciless, who believed he could create a perfect world by creating perpetual conflict, since it was the ultimate state of existence for him, because it would like test and strengthen the world. And like, just believe wars built the strongest societies, because you could never just float by. You had to constantly be winning. And since it's not every day you come across a warmonger Batman that can kill all the Olympian gods, Barbatos made a spot in the army for him, as well as kind of feeding on his needs, promising him like the ultimate war. So he was on board. Our 4th Dark Knight, we head over to Earth -32, to the night that Bruce Wayne's parents are murdered in Crime Alley. The night unfolded how it always had. Joe Chill goes to rob him, shoots him instead, but in that moment where it's like just Bruce, a Green Lantern power ring detected an incredible amount of willpower in our young Bruce Wayne. And since the power ring is a tool of pure concentrated willpower designed to overcome fear, it finds Bruce. But with this like change in the timeline from the norm, Bruce Wayne never had to truly overcome his need for vengeance. Like something bad happened to him and he was immediately given a tool to like get even, basically. Granted, there was like a strict limitation with the ring, like that you basically couldn't use lethal force or like stuff like that. But obviously, the Green Lanterns didn't realize the scope of Batman's intelligence, and over time, Bruce's will was so strong, he was able to kind of override the ring, like how it was programmed, and kind of able to bend its intentions into kind of murdering basically whoever he wanted, kind of however he wanted. You normally see like green constructs come up from a normal Green Lantern, but in his case they were like monstrous shadowy bat structures, which like he immediately used to kill Joe Chill. And just by overpowering the ring's block on murder, like just completely with his need to kill Joe Chill. Like he wanted to kill him so bad that it overpowered the ring's like block to not kill anybody. And that kind of breakthrough of the like ring's programming just like permanently broke it, and it just made it so that he can just fully do whatever he wanted. He didn't need to really power it up at the Lantern Planet as much, I guess, because he would have had to go there and they would have known. So probably fine with just what he's just like fully self-sustaining it with his own like vengeance or something. But as time went on, he became more and more powerful, terrorizing criminals and killing them in like increasingly brutal and creative ways, which the Green Lantern Corps sensed the ring's corruption, and as well as the massive loss of life from like this planet, and decided they like had to intervene. Sent all the Green Lanterns to take out this threat, but Batman was too powerful, too smart, and too prepared for a situation like this. So he used his strongest power he had created called Blackout. And that, like, with his corrupted ring, he could turn an entire area into like absolute darkness, where he can control the shadows, and pretty much everything that was there was shadows. So just like full power, invincible, and he controlled the laws of physics in that bubble of shadows. And it was just like, he would just like make a bubble around a guy, like around a different Green Lantern, and he would just control it and kill him. And which is exactly what he did, and killed every single lantern one by one. And this blackout power got so strong because he was able to test it so many times and have it work so well so many times, that he was able to put the entire Earth into a permanent night, ruling it as a monstrous Green Lantern known as the Dawnbreaker, because there's now no more dawn. His world eventually died in the darkness, and kind of out of options, he was offered a spot on the army with a chance to spread his darkness to the entire multiverse, which seemed like a good deal because he was kind of pretty brain broken by this time. It wasn't even about vengeance anymore. He just enjoyed it, so he was on board. Next, we will cruise on over to Earth Negative 44, where the relationship between Bruce Wayne and his loyal butler Alfred was even more prominent than on Prime Earth. it was almost like Alfred was his Robin here. But that also meant Alfred was put in the fray a bit more than normal, which ultimately led him to getting brutally murdered by Bane, which kind of shattered Bruce's world. Like, unable to function because he was fully convinced he could have prevented Alfred's death if only he had been stronger or faster. Like, he could have stopped it, but he just wasn't good enough. So naturally, he created a plan to make sure that himself and his loved ones could never be harmed ever again. So Batman calls up his friend Cyborg, because Batman had been working on a sophisticated self-aware AI called the Alfred Protocol. And his plan was to pretty much upload this Guardian AI protocol into a highly advanced technological body, kind of like how Cyborg is, to create an Alfred Defender Bot 2.0. So Cyborg, who knew the potential dangers of a self-aware AI with no moral compass, gave Bruce a pretty big warning, hey, I get you have good intentions, but we all have watched movies, right? We all have seen what happens in this movie. Maybe don't do that. But Bruce fully believed he was in the right. The machine would never betray me. Why would it? Alfred would never betray me, and this machine will be Alfred, but better. So Cyborg leaves, and he's I'll just do it myself. So Batman creates a cyborg-like, highly advanced technological robot body, and just uploads it himself without Cyborg's help. Duh. But what ended up coming to life was not the gentle, caring Alfred that he knew. It was a cold, calculating machine that was born from Bruce's trauma and grief. It saw the Justice League as a vulnerability, since they were the people that could get Bruce hurt or killed, because he had access to all the information that Bruce had. And with that, it also knew how to kill all of them. And it's well, Bruce being a member of the Justice League would put him in harm. So if there's no Justice League, then he won't be put in harm. Pretty simple. So I gotta get rid of the Justice League. And they're not gonna go quietly, so I gotta kill the Justice League. So it did. And then it decided that it could best protect Bruce if they were actually bonded together. So he could be right next to him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And he could protect him against all threats and be his eyes and ears, which made sense to this Batman. I mean, yeah, perfect. If you can protect me from all threats, from my own body, that's the ultimate protection. And so he kind of fused themselves together, and he was kind of turned into a prisoner in his own body instead. He wasn't in control and was forced to watch as the Alfred AI turned his world into a desolate wasteland of machines and dead bodies. And the self-aware AI fused with Batman's body became known as the Murder Machine before it killed all of humanity. And with a quick cosmic visit by the Barbatos army, they opened his eyes to multiple universes, and he was offered a chance to reboot the multiverse to truly eliminate all the threats and make a world full of no threats. Probably easier said than done, but with these new threats all unveiled to him all at once, with the unveiling of the multiverse to this murder machine, he had to, right? It's oh, there's new threats. So he had to join the army of the Dark Knights. So you might be noticing a theme. We're kind of collecting these Batman-like Pokemon, and they're all Batman plus an all-powerful being to create a super destroyer Batman for each member of the Justice League. But we'll see. Maybe it'll change. Probably not. But with the Murder Machine as our 5th, we are running low on spots in our 7 general army. So we get to number 6 on Earth -52, where a series of catastrophic events led to the deaths of all of Bruce Wayne's sidekicks. Jason Todd, Dick Grayson, and Tim Drake were all gone. And just to pile it on, his son Damian, who would have also become Robin, was killed too. And this string of losses really kind of broke Bruce's brain, and he was convinced that the Flash, Barry, was kind of hoarding the Speed Force to use it on himself to protect only the people that he loved. And that if he could just access the Speed Force, he could use it to protect the people he lost, like the Flash does. And he knows like the capabilities of the Flash and knows that the Flash can manipulate time and even go back in time to save people. And over time, the Flash became a constant reminder of his inability to protect his Robins and even his own son, because it's just like he's just watching the Flash do time stuff and like, man, like I know, like he's just a constant reminder of what he's not letting him do, which kind of drove Batman crazy. And he made a plan. He modified the Batmobile into kind of a cosmic treadmill car that was able to absorb the Speed Force, and ambushed Barry and trapped him in the car, which acted like a Speed Force prison. So with Barry stuck in place, pleading with Batman not to alter the timeline, he decided to fuse the Flash with himself, tearing the Speed Force from Barry's body and fusing it with his own, which created a like horrific Speed Force being that was also haunted with Barry's screaming consciousness trapped in Bruce's head, just as like a bystander along for the ride. So now our Batman, with his own tactical mind mixed with the raw power of the Speed Force, was reborn as the Red Death. However, the Speed Force was corrupted by Batman's dark, like, psyche, which caused a trail of destruction and death wherever he ran, kind of decaying the world around him. Kind of like how when the Flash runs, it's like lightning kind of the whole way, and this is more like death the whole way behind him. And he started killing the villains of Gotham, then Central City, believing he was like eliminating future tragedies. But this like paradox of existence he created started making his own universe collapse, with the Speed Force being so corrupted, because it's like a natural force that the Earth needs to have. It's like controls space and time. So, you know, with it being so corrupted, it was space and time where it was getting kind of fucked up. And much like the others, he was visited by the Dark Knight army with promises of like other future threats, and in like a new universe that they could create, he could truly eliminate all future threats and actually protect the people he loves, with a chance to even correct his past mistakes. And like they could start over, and he could instead protect all the Robins and protect his son, because he'd be kind of starting all from scratch. But now he is faster and stronger. So that was an easy recruit, very easy recruit. Especially because this world was dying. So we made it to our final member, which I've now covered him twice through the years of doing these episodes, but you can't have a story about the Dark Knights without him. So here we are on Earth -22, where everything on this Earth is exactly the same as Prime Earth, except for one tiny detail, where Batman is finally pushed to the edge and snaps the Joker's neck, officially killing him for the first time. And this was uncharted waters for Batman. Like, he'd never gotten this far. And because of that, he didn't know that Joker had a contingency plan, a virus specifically engineered to infect the mind of whoever killed him in his heart. Like, it was just like surgically implanted in his heart. So if it stopped, it would release a toxin, which it did, and infected Batman. And slowly but surely transformed his brain like over the course of a week. Initially, like, Batman's allies, like the other people in the Batcave, like the Bat family and the Justice League, kind of dismissed his new, like, erratic behavior as like trauma from having to kill the Joker. But he started telling like more and more sadistic jokes. His crime fighting became more brutal, and his like normal stoic look was replaced by a new permanent grin, and getting coined with the nickname the Batman Who Laughs, since originally Batman notably never laughs. His intelligence and all that was still there. Like, he wasn't full like crazy psycho. Like, he could make plans with the Justice League and get from A to Z tactically, but it was like the way he'd go about it lately was making the Justice League members be like, maybe chill. And as time went on, he basically just turned into like a horrifying hybrid of himself and the Joker. And in his new twisted form, he turned on his own world, killing everybody, villains and heroes, using all his intimate knowledge of everyone to easily wipe them all out. He infected Superman with a kryptonite toxin that made him go on like a murder spree. And once all the heroes were gone, he corrupted all of the children of this world with a Joker toxin, turning them all into like his loyal, monstrous, rabid Robins. And out of like all the Dark Knights, he was able to cause the most damage. Like, any of them could just destroy the world. The murder machine just like killed everyone, like, cool. But this Batman was able to make Superman kill his own son in front of his own wife, Lois, while still being like consciously himself and just unable to control himself. That's different. That's a different kind of killing. So Barbatos saw him as the perfect like lead general, and like someone that could turn hope and like anything that Superman symbolized into despair, and use the very symbols of justice to create chaos instead. And telling the Batman Who Laughs about the multiverse only grew his ambition to tell the greatest cosmic joke of all and return everything to a state of nothingness. Which I cover him a little bit more, obviously, in the Batman Who Laughs episode, specifically the remastered one that came out, I think, earlier this year, maybe last year by now. I don't know. It was a while ago. But with all 7 of our Dark Knights locked and loaded over eons of preparation, it was finally time to invade Earth Zero. Next time, we cover the aftermath of the Dark Knight's Metal series, and then start transitioning into Year of the Villain. Exciting. But that's all today. So I will see you next week, Monday at 7 a.m. Bye-bye.
freak. 7 days a week. That wet ass pussy good. My pull out game